No, I haven't, I'm not going to.
You didn't go that far
And they're not
east.
even covering it right now,
I suppose not.
for our conferences or anything, so. Are we ready?
So bad.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope. We got no, it's still preparing.
What we were talking about
Oh.
was.
We'll
we
give
went
it-
to Cape Canaveral. when
Oh,
we were
yeah.
down.
We'll
And
see.
you've been there, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we just thought it was so cool, and we got to meet an astronaut, and they were just talking about, today's the anniversary of the Challenger.
Oh, man.
And they were talking about where
You want
they
me to
were
bring that up in the
in
minutes
school.
that I brought up?
And I'm like,
You can, I tried to edit it, and it
For a
wouldn't
job.
let
Oh,
me.
really?
yeah.
Okay,
and
so
they-
let's
But
have it as a
I'll edit,
correction.
I'll edit it I'll edit it anyway,
As
but I
long
was
as
just
it's
gonna put,
noted, it's okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and so,
I've
yeah,
never been
we
to
can,
the
we'll talk
reservation,
about that,
I've
and
never
I'll,
fired a
yeah,
gun, so.
'cause I think
don't
we'll
know.
just put moved into
Wow. That's what I
executive
said, I
session,
could
just
learn.
as personnel matters,
Wow.
and then
I
before
was
adjourning
thinking,
the
Okay.
board think
Kansas
plans
City,
for his
and I
work,
have
so,
kids in the
so I
park.
separated that out.
In the sky.
Oh, you saw it in the sky.
Somebody's
Oh,
looking
Needs
at
to be
open
accurate.
lines,
Wow.
yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah,
Especially
no, and that's
executive
good.
session
That
required.
was crazy.
I think I was
Right.
close enough.
Well, and that's why
to
we, yeah,
see the-
and that's why we do this.
Oh.
is so we
Yeah,
can Make
I
sure
know.
that
That's why we did it.
everybody's good, yeah. All right, we are
That is.
Live.
that would stay with you.
It would, wouldn't it?
We're live.
So clean up your language.
And then he looks at me.
Well, you're the only one talking at the time, so that was, that's all it was.
all right. Well, welcome, everybody. I will call the Library Board meeting on the January 28th, 2026 meeting to order. Want to start by welcoming Kathleen Christensen. Welcome to the Library Board. Kathy, you go by Kathy?
Yes.
All right. Kathy, do you want to just give us a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Kathy Christensen. I live in Sturgis, and I've lived here for about 46 years now, I think. And I work at Fort Meade VA. I'm in human resources. I'm married to my husband, Mark, which is the reason I moved to Sturgis. He's retired from what was Campbell Supply. I have 2 kids, both who live in Sturgis, both son and a daughter, and 6 grandchildren.
Awesome.
Well, welcome.
Welcome.
All right. Kathy is going to be filling the Meade County representative position. It's a 1-year renewable term, so we're glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Please don't be afraid to ask if there's any questions as we're going through. If you have any questions, as you see on the agenda. So welcome, Kathy. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the minutes from the November.
December 3rd, but yeah,
We did meet December 3rd. Sorry, I was like, I knew it was
it was a
late.
while ago.
So if everyone can take an opportunity to review those.
Cricket, I have a addition
Okay,
to the minutes. Under executive session, it states we moved into executive session to thank Lance for his service. I'd like that changed to we moved into executive session to discuss personnel.
okay.
And then out of executive session, the board thanked Lance.
Yep.
For his service on the board.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry.
Mhm.
Any other discussion or revisions to the minutes from December 3rd?
To approve.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the library board minutes from December 3rd, 2025 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, financial reports.
All right. They're a little bit longer than usual for a couple of reasons. One, because we didn't meet at the end of December, so it's basically 2 months' worth of stuff. And then a number of big purchases were made here at the beginning of the year, subscriptions and updating computers and stuff, so I'm trying to think there. I don't think there's anything really too out of the ordinary. I went ahead and bought the 2 new computers I was planning on and got those installed So that's good. And other than that, I think it's all programming and books and all that good stuff. It is, the Adobe is a little bit confusing. They charged us the regular rate, not the government rate, for Creative Cloud. And so what ended up happening is they ended up refunding the money that they charged and then charged us for the reduced rate. So there are about, I think there are three Adobe charges, but that's what that's all about.
Okay,
And,
refund for
yeah.
full price, yeah.
Is that the reset?
No, well, wait, it's on page 7. There's professional fees, software subscriptions. We had a refund of $777 and a charge of $318 and a charge of $779. So they took off the 3 or 4 days that we had the subscription, which is why they didn't give us all the money back. But anyway, it's, you know, it's less than half price.
Oh,
So, yeah. And why that got changed, I'm not sure. But, other than that, the city budget is all pretty straightforward.
Chris, what was the reset? They show it
Oh,
on
reset,
this.
what I do for this, reset is I take what's left at the end of the year and clear it out and put in the allocation for '26. So that's what the reset is. Now, some of that money, it'll have to be adjusted because of stuff that was purchased in December that we didn't get invoices for until afterwards. So 13th month stuff, that'll come out of that 2,500 as well. So we ended up with, we were pretty close to spending it all. So I think we did a pretty good job this year. So yeah, that's what the reset is. It's just to give us a new number for the next year's accounting to help me keep track. We're doing things a little bit differently using the citywide accounting system, Cassell. And so there are going to be more robust reports in that I'll be able to look at. But those numbers end up being the same, but the dates are often different because it doesn't go into Cassell until the check is actually cut. So between this and Cassell, we're able to kind of check and make sure that everything balances out so that we're all getting everything taken care of and accounted for. Any questions about the city budget?
Question,
Yeah.
how's the Medici subscription going? How's that?
I knew you were going to ask, and I haven't checked lately, so I'm not sure what the numbers are.
Okay,
And I can't tell you the last time I checked, to be honest. So I don't know, but I can find out.
okay, that'd be great,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. I'll write that down. Okay, the Dunn Trust, savings account is going along just fine. Growing at a nice pace. The, Memorial Miscellaneous checking, we, let's see. Because of copyright issues with some of the stuff in our archives, mainly newspaper clippings that we have in the vertical file, and we talked about this before, the web version of Past Perfect is not going to work because we have too many things that we would not be able to put up on there for people to look at because we don't have copyright clearance. So we had talked about moving it in-house, which we did there at the end of the year. And so instead of paying PastPerfect a yearly fee to be able to use their service to keep stuff in the cloud and all of that, it's all downloaded onto our computer, and we purchased the latest version of the software, so we won't have a yearly fee with that anymore. So they charged us to convert the data and download it. The software, which will program on 5 computers, so they'll all be networked to a central computer that's going to have all of the archive, and then that'll be backed up, actually in a couple of places. So people will be able to access PastPerfect from within the library, and then we don't have the copyright issues that we would have had otherwise. So that's all taken care of and set, and until there's an update to PastPerfect, which probably won't be for a few years, we're in good shape with that way. And hopefully this week we'll get the network set up so that people will be able to start actually using it. But we do have all the stuff that we had put into it has been transferred over, and so we're set. So that's great. So that won't be costing us money every year anymore. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And so that leaves, I think there's, I can tell you here in just a second. So the Bob Davis Memorial, which is where we were paying for that from, has $1,100 left in it still. So that'll be there earning interest until it gets used for something or just keeps generating interest. So if something kind of along the lines of what he was interested in comes our way for programming or something,
Good.
we've got some of that money that we can use. So, yeah.
Chris, can we as patrons put things into PastPerfect? Can we scan them and add to
No.
what's there? Okay.
No, you would have to bring it in and we would have to input it
Okay.
ourselves. Because the cataloging process is just knowing how to catalog it and what number to put on it and assign all that stuff. So it's not just a repository, everything has a place essentially. But if there is anything you want to add, bring it in and we'll give it to Lee and he can, and if it's something that you want to hold on to, we can scan it in and give it back to you. So, yeah.
Are you still inputting a lot of things as
Oh,
we
yeah.
still okay.
That's going to be a process that continues for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
I'm hoping Lee gets it done before he retires. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
much input.
there's a lot of stuff there that we're working on. So, yeah.
Cool that we have that,
But
though.
it will be great that it will be digital and that
Oh,
we won't have to worry about the newspapers crumbling or whatever's going on. Yeah. Yeah. And some of that stuff will be easier to search, especially the newspaper clippings, because you won't have to go to the microfilm and find the issue and hope that you can read the issue because some of the microfilm's in really bad shape. You'll just be able to go to that article if it was saved in the vertical file and look at it. And then it would also be linked to other items that are related.
right.
So
I
if you
remember
typed
his
in Sturgis
presentation.
flood, there are going to be a lot of things because they'll have keywords that, so
Well,
you'll
that's
be able
really
to
good.
look at
Oh,
it.
that
So
makes
it,
things so much easier to find.
so the use of it, hopefully it'll get a lot of use.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it will, but at least the information will be there in a way that people can access it
Yeah,
a lot
Be a program on
easily.
that.
Really,
right.
there could, just to let people
That
know
would
it
be
exists.
really good.
Could be, yeah.
It would be.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that was a big charge to Memorial Miscellaneous. Otherwise, it's been, deposits and just the typical stuff that we've been spending things on. All right, the First Interbank, the Memorial Miscellaneous Savings is, again, we pulled some of the Bob Davis money out for PastPerfect, but otherwise it's just continuing to generate interest. And we did get the Black Hills Community Foundation statement for the fourth quarter, which has us up a little bit, so those numbers are looking good. I haven't received a disbursement letter yet. We decided last year that we would take half of that money and put it in an account to maintain the children's area. And so once I see how much we have to pull from, then we'll go ahead and take care of that. And so that usually is sometime in January, so I'm guessing probably tomorrow it'll show up, because that's usually what happens. So then we'll just go ahead and do that. And I think that's it for financials, if anybody has any other questions.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions on the financial report? If you need a minute to keep reviewing, Kathy, just holler if you have any questions.
I will.
It's a lot of information to. I will entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the financial report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Director's report.
Actually, right before that, I wanted to update everybody.
Oh, thank you.
It's not part of the financial reports, but it's related to those.
Yes.
We were talking about getting a point of sale system so people can use credit cards or debit cards. And what I've discovered there are, a lot of businesses out there, but the one that looks like it would be the best for us is a company called Helsim, who has, they charge 1.83% plus 8 cents per transaction for a credit card and 1% plus 8 cents per transaction for a debit card. And that's about the lowest you're gonna find. What I'm looking at now is, and it's probably gonna depend on the system once we start trying to use it, is how we're gonna make that work so that we're not losing money on those transactions. So basically, and it's like a lot of places are doing now, you'll have one charge if you get copies on the credit card, you'll have another charge if you pay cash. And this way people can come in. And it's just a matter of figuring out how are we gonna add, a flat 8 cents to every copy, or are we gonna make, instead of copies being 15 cents, are we gonna make them 25 cents per copy? The more you spend, the less it's gonna cost us. And, I anticipate most people probably aren't gonna come in and try to pay for a 15-cent copy with their card, although we have had people try that before. And if they want to, fine. But what I'm trying to do is make sure we have a system that's gonna be really smooth for the staff, so they don't have to do any calculating, and just make sure that it's, we're not overcharging people, but we're covering our costs essentially, is what we're looking at. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly how that's gonna work, but it looks like that's going to work for us. And hopefully within the next 2 or 3 months, we'll probably try to get that up and running and then kind of see how it goes, so.
Other libraries, do they have point of sale
Yeah.
systems?
Yeah, it's pretty common. And
Okay.
we have a fair number of people that come in that are just ready to go.
Yeah.
And right now, if it's a couple of copies, we have change that people have left behind, and we'll just use that. But if it's a bigger thing, then they have to run across the street, because we don't have an ATM here anymore, so. And we don't like to do that, so if we can, provide that service, I think it's not gonna cost us anything, really. It's a few hundred up front for like $350, I think, for the machine itself. But again, I think that's a service we need to be offering, and it's gonna be, and I think it'll work. And it may even actually integrate into Koha, which is our library management system, so that if somebody owes us $20 for a book, we may be able to just charge it and it'll automatically do what it needs to. Theoretically, it can do that. Whether it actually works out, we'll see. But at any rate, I think it'll be fine, and it'll be a good thing to have. And I just want to make sure that it's not going to cause more issues than it solves.
Right.
You know?
Could you maybe just do like a minimum, like if you, like you can use your debit or credit card with this many dollar minimum?
Well, and we had thought about
Is
that
that
as well, making it like
possible?
$1 minimum.
Yeah, $1,
something.
even like $3 or
Yeah.
something. I mean, because I've seen that in businesses, like
Right.
you can't use your card if it's under $5 is pretty common, so.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's one of the options I looked at, and trying to decide, you know, what's gonna work the easiest for everyone, so, yeah, we'll get something. Okay,
All right, thank
so
you.
that's that. All right. Now the board report, okay, if I can find it, there it is, okay. I put on last year's totals for you to look at, which are all pretty good. Nothing really out of the ordinary. The biggest, I don't want to say surprise, but the biggest issue, and I've talked about this before, is the ratio of Libby to physical checkouts. And I'm anticipating that probably by the end of this year, we're going to be at 50-50. Which means going forward, we're going to need to start putting a lot more money toward Overdrive and Libby than we are to print books. I mean, we're going to have to change that. They're more expensive, they don't last as long, even though they're digital, but it needs to be, I think, because I was looking actually just yesterday, and some of the most popular titles have 60 to 80 holds on them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so, average wait time is, you know, for some things over a year, yeah. And for some of those books, the book may not be around because you only have a limited number of checkouts, so. Some of the books we can get, you can buy like 100 concurrent checkouts, and then it'll basically wipe out that holds list. And then once 100 people have read it or listened to it, because actually audiobooks are at the top of the wait list right now, then it's gone. But some of them you can even go to a pay per circulation model. And the one, I forget what audiobook it was, that's at the top of the holds list. No, it wasn't at the top, but it was close to the top. The charge per circ was $8 and do it. I mean, I wish we could, but, they're expensive, but we'll figure it out and we'll adjust, as need be. But that was the kind of the biggest number that I thought was kind of interesting. So far this year, things are all pretty normal. We did get $2,000 from Sturgis Rally Charities for the summer reading program, so that's great. The Sturgis Williams Middle School art is still up, and Jacqueline Reinhardt is bringing stuff in February. She's from Lead, and she does in a number of different media, so I don't know if she's bringing photographs or art or what she'll be, or a mix. So that'll be exciting to see, and that'll be in February. March is the quilt show, right? No, April. Or April. Oh, April, okay. So, yeah, we've got quilt show coming up, and so that'll be great. Storytime numbers still good. The summer reading program, Unearth a Story, is the theme this year, so it will tie to lots of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Archaeology, history, there's some US 250th stuff that will be tied into it. So there are, I think, a lot of options that way. The Sturgis schools have their science curriculum on display, so if you want to take a look at it and you can give comments, that's going to be probably for another month or so. They've got their science curriculum out there for 4th through 8th, I think is what it is. And so you can look at what they're doing. There's an online component, but the link is not working right now, the QR code that you scan, so we're trying to get them to get that activated again. But you can look and see what the science curriculum is gonna look like, and there's some pretty heady stuff in there, it's kinda great, so. I think lots of experimenting and thinking about things, and so that's cool. Standard meetings as far as who's showing up to use our meeting rooms. The facilities seem to be running pretty well. I've got 3 people that I've reached out to for quotes for the flooring in the staff area. So hopefully we'll have some numbers next month for that, so we can decide how we're gonna proceed.
Were you talking about having our maintenance?
That's a possibility. It may be, one of the downsides that I was thinking about that is depending on when all this starts going, we just may not have help because they'll be busy as they start getting things ready for the spring. But also, if there are any problems with it, if a professional comes in and does it, we have a professional we can go to and say, you need to fix what's going on. So, we'll look at the bids and then we can discuss it and go from there and see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We do, I just found out yesterday, we won't have custodial service in this building for 4 to 6 weeks. One of the 2 custodians is out on medical leave, and so they decided that the custodial staff would do the community center in the armory. So it's up to us to do this building.
Chris didn't tell you about that as a board member
Yeah.
when you started.
Yeah, well, and by us, I mean, I've got the schedule for when each of you guys are coming in. No, we're gonna do, whoever's working the late shift will empty trash and do some vacuuming. And then I'll come in the mornings and hit the bathrooms and probably do a little bit of mopping. There it is. They're talking about closing off the 2 bathrooms in the lobby upstairs. They get a fair amount of use from people that are upstairs, so I may just leave those open and hit those in the mornings as well. Finance office is doing the downstairs bathrooms in the lobby.
Oh, good.
So, that's where we're at for now. They're looking at the possibilities of either, it was suggested they could hire a temp service, but apparently that's not possible in Sturgis, or hiring part-time or hiring somebody temporarily to take over, but nothing has been discussed or decided yet. So that's where we're at for right now. Other than that, yeah, I mean, everything in facility-wise seems to be working well, so we're in good shape. Our Kevin, who's the maintenance guy for us, is, he walks through every morning and checks everything and makes sure everything's doing what needs to be done, so that's good. We had a consortium meeting just a couple weeks ago, and it looks like the reciprocal lending that we're gonna start doing with Libby should be happening next month. So our consortium members will be able to check out books from the state library system, which is South Dakota Titles to Go, and the Siouxland libraries. So you will have access to all 3 Libby collections. You can't put things on hold from the other 2 library systems, but if it is available, you can check it out. And that will keep one group from manipulating the other group's collections, is the big issue. Because if you think about the size of us versus the size of Sioux Falls versus the size of the rest of the state, stuff would get sucked up. We also, related to that, changed the amount of holds and amount of checkouts. It was set at, I can't remember, 39 or 49 or something, some big number. We've reduced the number of holds you can have at any point in time to 10, and the number of checkouts to 20. And we set it at 20 because some families use one card for the whole family. So if you have 5 or 6 kids and they each have a book or 2, you're gonna get up there to that number pretty quickly. The holds number, actually should clear the holds queues a little bit, because you can't go through and just click on
50 up.
30 different books. Oh, that'd be interesting, and then fill it up. We've already had, I talked to a woman earlier this week who was not happy about that. But I explained to her why we're doing it, and she understands. I think she's still not happy about it, but she understands why we're doing it. One of the other issues that was happening, and I think I had mentioned this in the past, is that people are going on online sites like Reddit and saying, hey, my library card has 37 checkouts at a time. I'm only using 3 of them. Anybody want my card number? And like,
Really?
yeah, around the country, around the world,
Wow.
you know, people are sharing. So, to try and limit that by bringing the number down, then you're not gonna have people everywhere using our resources. So that apparently is an issue as well. So that's happening with the consortium. Also, the way we invoice lost materials within the consortium is going to change. For a while, it was kind of up to every library to decide whether to charge, like if somebody from Rapid checks out our book and they lose it, they could pay us, they could pay Rapid, and it was done. A couple of years ago, we looked at the amount of materials that are lost per library and the amount of money that comes in. And between libraries, it was all pretty much a wash. Like, our patrons lose as many items as other libraries do of our stuff. And so it was, you know, very small amounts within libraries. So we didn't worry about it. Well, now that's changed a little bit, just because, you know, Rapid City has a collection agency. And so if one of their books is lost and doesn't get paid for, they send it to collections. And some of the other libraries, including me, said, well, we don't really want you charging our patrons. We don't want a collection agency going after one of our patrons for a book that they lost of yours. So what we're going to be doing is, at the end of each year, we're going to look at those amounts and then decide, you know, we owe Rapid $10, they owe us $12. Are we gonna charge them $2, or are we gonna call it good? And so it'll be left to each library to decide how they want to do that. So it's still, just because of the nature of it, it's a little bit messy. But essentially, the idea is, if our patron checks something out from another library and loses it, they pay us. And then we decide, are we gonna send it on or not? And it'll depend on what those numbers look like at the end of the year. So, instead of just saying, well, we're not gonna worry about it, now we'll be visiting it each year to decide. And that, I think that'll work out fine. I talked about Past Perfect already. As far as other stuff, Rapid City has gotten most of their funding restored, so I think that's good. It's gonna be a yearly contract with the county, it looks like. So every year they will have to apparently renegotiate that. But they're not down, you know, $400,000 or whatever it was, so that's good. Actually, and on the state level, I actually was talking to Scotty earlier today about this. There haven't been any bills that deal with censorship or book banning or libraries yet this session. She said there's another, I think there's another week or week and a half
A week.
that you can still introduce bills, so they're cautiously optimistic. The woman who tends to introduce those bills tends to do it late in the process. So there still may be something that comes down the pike, but I think, but we'll see. We'll see. So there are enough other big issues right now that might not be on a bunch of people's radar this year. The biggest impact for us, I think, is going to be what happens with property taxes and how that is going to adjust what cities and counties are getting. So I think that's, that, and we'll have to see how that goes. Bob Graham's, some of you may have seen his grandfather's library that was at the county building for a long time in the display case. They are not going to display it anymore. So he wanted to display it in the library here, and so we talked about it, and he signed a waiver that says the library is not responsible for the violin if anything happens to it. And so he's working on some kind of a display case, so it'll be put on display in the library. So that's moving forward. The library is, or the violin itself, as far as an instrument, is not worth any money. It does not play well at all. So it has no value that way. It's just sentimental value. And the family wants it on display. And so and I said, well, I think we can do that for you. So that'll be up at some point. And we'll see how that goes. Our assistant director position, we have 4 applications so far. I checked with Carrie, our HR person, right before the meeting, and she said there are 4 applications so far. And we've got another, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before it closes. So that's good. If any of you, we haven't finalized the interview process yet, but I'm hoping that at least one of you would be interested in serving. Okay, it's a city hire, but I think it'd be good to have library board input on it.
We approve it though, correct?
No, it's not, no. The only thing the library board does is hire the director.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all that the library board officially does. But I feel like input would be good. And so, yeah. So, since Carrie is new here and we don't really have a process, this job, I think, is going to be kind of creating a process for hiring that will go from here on, that's got more safeguards built into it and protections for the city, in case somebody who thinks they should get hired doesn't get hired. We want to make sure we have something in place where we can say, well, here are the reasons that you weren't considered for the job, or here's the reasons that we didn't choose you, so that it's all clear and laid out. And yeah, so yeah, it is good, and that'll work well.
How long is Donia here?
She's here till the end of February.
Okay.
The first week of March is when that Friday is when she'll be done.
Probably not time to orient someone then.
No, but she's willing to help out.
Good.
She's like, I'll come back and, yeah. You know, so it's, so yeah, that won't be a problem at all as far as that goes. The state library survey that we do every year just opened up, I think, the beginning of this week. So by next meeting, we'll have all those numbers done, and I'll have that for you guys to look at to see how everything went last year. The hotspots will be going away when the service plans expire, which is March for some and April for some. So we'll be done with them at that point. I think that's all.
Chris, one question. As part
Yes.
of those hotspots, will we still have it outside the building?
Yeah, the outdoor are staying there. These are the ones that people can check out.
Right. I couldn't remember if those were tied together.
No, they're not. They're
Okay.
completely separate.
Okay.
It's separate accounts. Yeah, separate systems. They're
So
independent.
important for people to know they can come by and,
Yeah, they still have access around the library and in the library.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just won't
Thank
be
you.
able to take it home and do it. Yeah.
Thank you for that report.
And that's, I think, yeah, that's all I know.
I don't see any unfinished business. New business.
New business. We are required to review the open meeting laws yearly, which is a new law that was passed at the last session. And so I included the state's guide to open meeting laws. And it's all pretty straightforward. There's nothing in it that we don't already do. If you have questions about stuff, it's all here. And I'm wondering if anyone has any questions that we can address right now. There are some changes in the legislature right now that may go through concerning open meetings, and if that happens, then we'll revisit that. It's I think the biggest issues are it would change the agenda would have to be posted 72 hours before the meeting rather than 24, and that's not including weekends. And then also that there may be a state-level website that agendas get posted to as well. It was a little unclear in the bill I looked at, but I think that's the gist of it, is that everybody would, right now, the state uploads to a state website any agenda for a state-level agency. I think they want to do that with every agency as well. So we'll see how that goes, but any questions about anything? I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but it's all pretty cut and dry. Yeah. And you can always come ask questions later if you have any, but like I said, it's all pretty clearly laid out in the PDF that they sent out. So, yeah, so what we need to do is put it in the minutes that we did review the open meeting laws for the year.
Does anyone have any questions, or is there any discussion that we want to have?
Like some reading that needs
Yeah.
to be done before we.
Yeah. I just reviewed, like, before going into executive session, they advise, to state the reason, which I think we do pretty
We
good,
do, yeah.
Yep, so I think we're following that. Yeah, I'll just peruse it just a little bit more, but I think at this point, is everyone comfortable with us saying we reviewed it? And if you want to take it home and review it more in depth, you certainly can.
What I would encourage you to, yeah.
Yes.
But we are in compliance with
Yeah.
everything currently, so.
Absolutely. All right. All right. And then we have some policy review.
Yeah, well, we need to probably have a motion that we did review the.
Oh,
Or we
did
will review it.
Yeah, we did our due diligence and did a yearly review of the open meetings laws, which is the
Alright.
only thing that we're not in compliance with currently.
all right. I will entertain a motion for someone to move that we reviewed the conducting the public business in public open meeting laws document.
So moved.
Been moved, seconded?
A second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. We have reviewed the open meeting laws.
All right, thank you. So, yeah, we have a cycle of reviewing our policies that is just kind of continual to make sure that everything's up to date and all of that. We got through it early last time around, like 3 years early last time around. So, because most of the policies didn't need any changes, so we looked at them and said, yep, we're good. But so back to starting over again. And we can actually get through them all, I think, this year, doing two a meeting. Most of them don't need changes, a few do. And so essentially what will happen is if we look at a policy and decide we don't need to make changes, then we can mark it reviewed with the date of the board meeting we reviewed it. If we do want to make changes, then we could either make the changes this month and then have a second reading next month, or work on the changes this month and have a first reading next month and then the second reading the month after that, right? So it's just a matter of getting the process rolling. And so this is where we're at. The meeting room policy, if we want to start there, there are a couple of changes that I think need to be made. One of them is and I don't know why the formatting got the way it is, but doesn't matter, the content is all good, excuse me. On the first page, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph, library meeting spaces will not be available for funeral, memorial services, or religious gatherings. I feel like we can't exclude religious gatherings. I think that's like, well, I think it's constitutionally guaranteed. I think you may open yourself to issues by excluding religious groups. So I feel it would be best if we took just that part of it out, just religious gatherings. Funerals, memorial services, I mean, we're just not set up to do that. With the community room right next to the children's area, I don't really feel like people wheeling caskets in and out is gonna be a good idea. And like I said, we're just not set up for that. But if somebody did want to have a meeting that had, religious overtones to it, I don't think it's our place to discriminate against them.
But-
Is what I feel about
Like
it.
a church service.
Yeah.
Well, if they wanted to have a church, I mean, if we have in the policy that you can't use it like on a weekly basis, we don't allow that. So if there was something and somebody was like, well, could we meet here on Saturday afternoon? I don't see why we could, I just feel like that's not something that we should discriminate on, I think.
I just, because I had the same thought as like, what if someone, but I guess that would take care of it, because we wouldn't want
Right.
someone who's like, well, I want to start my own church, I don't have a spot to meet, we'll just
Right.
use the library
Right.
every week.
Right.
And we
And-
don't,
and-
and we wouldn't want that.
And it's,
yeah.
Maximum time is 3 hours. It also, where is it? I think later on in here, says that, where is it? Well, now I won't be able to find it, but it does say that you can't use it. You can use it, I think, twice a month we allow. But also it's during our hours,
Yeah.
On occasion, we'll let somebody, if something goes late, if it's approved, then they can go late, but, we're not gonna open up the library at, 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, so somebody can have a meeting there. That's not what we do. And it's also based on, availability as well, and library events take precedence over community events. So it's busy enough that there is not really an open time on a regular basis that somebody could meet anyway.
Okay.
To be honest, it's just, there are too many programs going on, and so I feel like that probably needs to be addressed. The other thing on the second page, under AV system, it talks about what we have, and it mentions barcodes. We actually don't use those anymore. They just don't work. And the company has gone away from using those dongles that get attached to your computer. And actually, for those to work, you really had to download some software, and a lot of people didn't want software downloaded, which I don't blame them. So we just don't use those anymore. So just strike that from AV system. And that's it as far as any changes to the policy. So I guess I would say if this is something you guys want to think about, great. If not, we can make the change and have the second reading next month. Up to you guys, really. There's no,
Give it a month?
yeah, that's
Mine.
fine. There's no big hurry.
I'm trying to remember why we had that in there, Chris.
Well,
I'm
and that's what
sorry,
I was
it's
trying to
not-
think about as well. And I think the reason was because it's not the place to hold a weekly church service. And I think setting up that precedent would be problematic in the long run. Because if one church is there, well, they get to use it, we should get to use it, and then pretty soon it would be monopolized by, or potentially, and they're just, and then that would limit what we get to use it for programming, and that's really the main use of that room.
Right.
So, so I could see it being kind of related to that.
Since we're gonna give it
But-
a year, do you mind waiting until next meeting?
No,
to
no,
have
not at all,
first reading?
not at all.
I
I
think in
just,
the
like I
first-
said, I just want to get the process rolling.
Something that's not
Yeah,
clicking here that I
yeah.
have a memory of.
Green feeling.
Well, and I was gonna go upstairs and mention it to our lawyer and see what his thoughts were, but he was not available this afternoon, so, so we'll also have some input that way.
Right, good.
Well, I think the first paragraph says that too. The library reserves the right to limit the use by any one group to accommodate the many requests
Right.
for the facility.
Yes, yeah,
So that
Yeah.
would eliminate continuous.
right. Yeah, so, okay, so that one, yeah, we'll look at it and, we'll table it until next month and then go ahead and decide what we want to do for changes.
Madam President?
Yes. Yes, so we will table the meeting room policy until the February board meeting
Okay.
to look at it for revisions or the first reading? Just to make
Well,
sure I
it would be
understood right.
revisions, yeah, probably would be revisions.
Revisions, and then the next
Yeah.
March meeting will be first reading, and then the second reading, April?
Probably,
Okay.
yeah, and that's fine, that works. Yeah. The second policy is local author book donations. This, I don't see a need to change it right now. It's just essentially saying that we're not obligated to take a book by an author. And also, if an author wants to set up a book signing, they're free to do that. We would not necessarily be involved in that. Not saying that we wouldn't be, but we're not, again, we're not obligated to be part of that. Is basically what it says. I would say typically when an author comes in with a book, we're more than happy to either buy it or take a copy. So, and because most of it is local history or, stuff like that. And so we tend to take those. There may be a situation where somebody brings in a book and we would say, this is just not something that we would necessarily want to have. And we have the freedom to do that based on the policy.
So that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, so if there are no changes that anybody wants, I can just mark that it was reviewed. And we'll put that one away for another few years.
Does anybody have any discussion or questions of anything that's on there? It seems pretty upfront and pretty clear. All right,
Okay.
all right, thank you. Look at that too.
So is there a motion to review, to have, I guess, to accept that the policy will stay as it is? And that way I can,
For the
be
local
official.
author?
For the local book author, yeah.
Yeah, so I will entertain a motion that we have reviewed and that there's no changes to the local author book donations, purchases, and book signings policy.
So moved.
All
Great,
right,
hey, you're in the minutes.
Kathleen moved it. I'll second.
Who's anybody?
Kathy?
Oh, okay, Kathy and Kathy,
right.
all right.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve that we have, reviewed the local author book donations, purchases, and book signings policy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. All right. Thanks, Chris. All right, I do not see any items to go into executive session.
Nope.
I don't see anybody out there has other matters to come before the board. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved, seconded.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Do we vote on adjournment? I don't think we do.
No.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
everybody. Let
We'll
me,
see you February 25th.
Chris, I'd like to compliment you on the Green Dolphin Jazz out at 44 North. That was
thanks.
so wonderful.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was great. I think all of them should be there.